I bought 200 acres of raw land for $2,000. Yet $2,000. 48 hours later, a woman from the HOA family living next door stomps across the dirt in designer heels like she owns the ground. She shoves a binder into my chest and says, "You owe our homeowners association $15,000 in back dues and violations." I look around. Nothing but wind, tall grass, and a couple cows staring at us like, what is happening here? No houses except theirs, no fences, no roads, just open prairie. She says the previous owner signed an agreement with their family HOA. I pull out my deed and tell her, this is my land and there is no HOA here. She smirks like she already won. Huge mistake. Because this diesel mechanic was about to turn their cute little family hustle into a federal disaster. What would you do if an HOA family tried to shake you down on vacant land? This is how I ended up owning more land than some small towns for the price of a decent motorcycle. 3 weeks earlier, I was under a Peterbilt with grease coating my knuckles when my phone buzzed. Grandfather passed. Left me 50 grand. Most people would buy a new truck. Me, I wanted out. 12 years fixing engines, breathing exhaust, feeling my spine compress day after day. The smell of WD-40 and hydraulic fluid felt like it was killing me slow. I had a dream. Organic farming. Trading motor oil for real dirt. I found a government land auction online. 200.3 acres. Agricultural parcel in Nebraska. Back taxes $2,000. Saturday morning I drove out, windows down, gravel crunching under the tires, meadowlark singing. Rolling hills, rich black soil, old fence posts marking clean boundaries. I could already see corn rows stretching to the horizon. Monday auction, one other bidder dropped out after 10 minutes. Done. $2,000, 200 acres. Way too good to be true. And yeah, it was. Wednesday I'm walking my land when I spot a massive California-style mansion about a quarter-mile east. Circular driveway, trimmed hedges, a lawn that probably costs more per month than I make. Through the window I see a guy in a polo shirt glued to a laptop. Red flag number 1. I'm tasting soil between my fingers when I hear it. Click, click, click. Designer heels on hard dirt. A blonde woman marches toward me like she's serving papers. "Are you the new property owner?" she asks. "I'm Brinley Fairmont, president of the Meadowbrook Estates Homeowners Association." President. I look around. One house. Endless farmland. "How many homes are in your association?" 12 beautiful properties, she says with a rehearsed smile. Her and her husband moved from California, brought standards to the area. Standards to farmland older than her parents. She pulls out a thick binder that smells like fresh ink. This land has always been part of their HOA. I tell her it's been agricultural since the 60s. She flips pages like a prosecutor and says I inherited the obligations. $15,000 in back dues and $750 a month going forward. I laugh. HOA fees on empty farmland. That's when I notice the smirk, like she's run this play before. She threatens liens, county involvement, legal trouble, hands me emails from the previous owner that look fake as hell. Weird formatting, sloppy timestamps. I ask for real documents. Suddenly she's evasive, tells me to look them up myself and walks back to her mansion. But what stuck with me was how fast she went nuclear. That's predator behavior. I grew up where a handshake still matters, and this woman declared war on the wrong guy. Lying in bed that night, it hit me. If she tried this on me, how many others did she scam? Next morning, county courthouse. If HOA records existed, they'd be there. Dolores, the clerk, didn't even let me finish. Fourth person this month, she says. Fourth. She lays out real documents. My deed, agricultural exemption from 1967. Original survey. No HOA. Then Brinley's actual filing. 12 homes clustered around her house. My land nowhere near it. Then Dolores drops the bomb. Brinley tried 6 times to amend my deed using forged consent. Fake signature and all. That's attempted fraud. Now I'm pissed. I post no trespassing signs, start real soil testing, make it clear this land's getting farmed. That afternoon, a call from property management. Different company name, same scam. UPS store address. That evening, Chadwick cruises past in a Tesla, slow, staring, taking pictures. I call the sheriff. Turns out other families already paid thousands. This wasn't about me anymore. Letters keep coming. Fake bills, bigger numbers, threats of collections. New LLCs, all family members, all mailboxes. Then I find BBB complaints across multiple states. Same scam, same playbook. Interstate fraud. When they show up again with their dog trespassing, I record everything. They retreat. That night, I meet the deputy at a diner. He slides me a card for an FBI fraud agent. Mail fraud, wire fraud, conspiracy. Suddenly it's federal. Brinley and Chadwick thought they found an easy target. What they found was the guy who's going to shut their whole operation down. Blue lights strobe through my bedroom window. 2 patrol cars in my driveway at 6 a.m. That sharp metallic rush of adrenaline floods my mouth as I pull on clothes and step outside. Deputy Reynolds approaches my door wearing the look that says someone's day is about to be wrecked. Marcus, we've got an issue. Brinley filed a police report claiming you threatened violence during a recording session. In her sworn statement, she says you aggressively brandished farm tools and made implied threats about defending your land with force. She has video. Reynolds hands me his tablet. Grainy phone footage shows me holding a pitchfork from a low angle that makes it look like I'm advancing toward the camera. The timestamp reads yesterday afternoon. She says you threatened her with that pitchfork, Reynolds explains. I watched myself looking like some unhinged farmer out of a horror flick. What the video doesn't show is that I was moving hay bales 30 feet from where she stood. The framing and cuts make it look like I'm stalking her when I was actually working away from her. This is edited, I tell him. He nods. Thought so. Got anything from that day? Thank God for trail cameras. I pull up my security footage from the same window of time. Continuous recording, multiple angles, 0 edits. The truth plays out on my laptop. Brinley deliberately walking onto my land. Me moving hay, minding my business. Her circling closer, then pulling out her phone to film from the most dramatic angle possible. Reynolds watches the real footage, the smell of fresh coffee blending with morning dew on my porch. She manipulated evidence for a false report. That's a felony. We file an incident report noting the inconsistencies, but the damage is already done. I'm officially under investigation for harassment. 6 hours later it escalates. I'm replacing fence posts when 2 cars pull up at my property line. Not the Tesla. A minivan and a sedan with out-of-state plates. For people step out like a suburban task force. 2 middle-aged couples dressed for church, notebooks and professional cameras in hand. They fan out along my fence and start photographing everything. My truck. My house. Me swinging a post hole digger. What are you doing? I call. A woman in her 50s approaches the fence. We're documenting unsafe conditions for the Neighborhood Safety Committee. Neighborhood Safety Committee. That's new. What unsafe conditions? Improper equipment storage, potential environmental fuel hazards, and documented aggressive behavior toward residents. I look around. Tractor legally parked. Fuel tank inspected and compliant. The only aggression is people trying to take my land. You're photographing my property without permission. This is for community safety, she says, like that phrase excuses anything. I pull out my phone and start recording. Suddenly, they don't like being documented. You can't film us without consent, one-man objects. Actually, I can. You're trespassing. Smile. They retreat to the road but keep shooting photos with serious faces and official clipboards. 20 minutes of staged evidence meant to paint me as dangerous. After they leave, I run the plates. 3 belong to families in Brinley's fake HOA. She's assembling witnesses. That night my phone blows up. Unknown numbers non-stop. Is this Graham? Channel 7 News. Care to comment on allegations of menacing behavior? This is Attorney Johnson representing concerned homeowners. 8 calls in 3 hours. Someone is orchestrating a character hit. Then they make a mistake. I call Sarah Hedrick, the farmer rights attorney Reynolds recommended. 20 years fighting rural property scams, and she recognizes the tactic instantly. They flip the story, she says, calm and seasoned. Make you the aggressor to justify their actions. Classic harassment reversal. Is it legal? The attempt is. Coordinated false statements aren't. That's conspiracy. She takes my case pro bono that afternoon, eager to finally make an example of interstate land scammers. 3 days later, she drops news that changes everything. I subpoenaed their financials, she says, spreading documents across the table. $47,000 collected in 2 years. No legitimate expenses. No services. Every dollar funneled into personal accounts. Organized theft. And there's more. Background checks show Brinley and Chadwick fled California 18 months ago, just ahead of fraud investigators. Left behind $30,000 in unpaid contractor bills and real HOA assessments. The puzzle clicks together. This isn't new. They're career criminals who moved to rural Nebraska hunting easier targets. Wrong target this time, Sarah says, stacking evidence. Mail fraud. Wire fraud. Interstate conspiracy. Evidence tampering. Federal territory. That night I sit on my porch listening to coyotes, thinking about every family they scammed before me. Tomorrow we build the case that ends it. The smoking gun comes from an unexpected place, a musty basement smelling of decades-old paperwork. During research, Dolores mentioned something that freezes us. That Fairmont woman kept asking about original deed restrictions. Agricultural protection status. The words hit like a punch. We follow her down creaking stairs to the archives. Stale air, leather, dust. She pulls a heavy box labeled Rural Zoning 1960 to 1970. Inside is gold. My land isn't just older than the subdivision. It carries permanent agricultural protection written into the 1967 deed. Holding it feels like a winning ticket and a shield combined. Any attempt to include protected agricultural land in a residential HOA is deed fraud under Nebraska law. Sarah reads, energized. The prior owner never had authority. Every document Brinley showed me is worthless. Then Dolores slides over another folder. 3 days before your auction, someone tried to file a deed amendment. Inside is a signature from Elmer Wickham, supposedly agreeing to join the HOA. One problem. I pull up his obituary. He died 6 months before the date on that document. They forged a dead man's name. Rage tastes metallic. It gets worse. The filing came from an IP traced to the Fairmont residence. They tried to steal your land before you bought it. Sarah smiles like it's Christmas. Premeditated federal wire fraud. The next hour unravels their operation across 3 states. Colorado, Arizona, Nebraska. 180,000 stolen from rural families. They're not amateurs, Sarah says. They're professionals. The balance of power flips. I'm not defending myself anymore. I'm holding evidence that can dismantle an interstate fraud ring. Agricultural protection trumps everything. Forged electronic filings mean 5 to 20 years. The plan forms as we leave. Let them think they're winning while we build the trap. They don't know we found the deed fraud. That's our ace. What started with fake fees ends with federal indictments. The hunter just became the hunted, and they have no idea what's coming. Federal sentencing guidelines tack on 5 extra years for crop destruction alone. They're staring at serious prison time now. Should I confront them? No. Let them keep digging. Every new crime only strengthens our case. Thursday evening turns into psychological warfare. My phone blows up with calls from people pretending to be authorities. Marcus, this is investigative reporter Johnson from Channel 7. We've received reports about your threatening behavior toward neighbors. Attorney Morrison here. I represent homeowners filing environmental hazard complaints against your property. Sheriff's Department. We've had multiple reports of suspicious agricultural activity requiring immediate investigation. 8 calls in 3 hours. But none of these people are real. The so-called sheriff call comes from a California area code. The attorney can't provide a bar number. The reporter hangs up the second I ask for credentials. They're impersonating law enforcement, lawyers, and media. Federal identity fraud charges pile onto their growing stack of felonies. The flavor of their desperation is sharp and bitter, like burnt coffee grounds mixed with justice. Friday morning, inspection day, I wake up to 3 rental cars lined along my fence like a suburban invasion. 6 people with professional cameras and official-looking clipboards stage what looks like a legitimate documentation operation. My security system lights up non-stop. Motion alerts, camera triggers, audio pickups recording every whispered plan as they prepare their final move. At exactly 9 a.m., Bob Tick rolls in driving a borrowed agriculture department truck. The FBI surveillance van, disguised perfectly as county road maintenance, takes position with clear sight lines to capture everything. Bob starts his inspection performance, testing soil and measuring boundaries with bureaucratic precision that would make the IRS proud. Minutes later, Brinley shows up like a suburban storm front. 4 people march straight across my property line. Brinley, Chadwick, and 2 men who look exactly like hired muscle in polo shirts. They head directly toward Bob with the confidence of people who think they're untouchable. Are you the state agriculture inspector? Brinley demands, her voice cutting through the morning air like a battle cry. Yes, ma'am, Bob answers calmly. Routine assessment for federal grant eligibility. This property operates under homeowners association restrictions, she announces, waving her binder like a weapon. State inspections require our prior authorization. The 2 strangers position themselves to block Bob's equipment. Professional intimidation tactics, mob-level stuff. Ma'am, I'm conducting official state business, Bob says, perfectly composed. Not without our permission, Chadwick snarls, stepping closer. That's the moment I know we've got them. Federal obstruction of government operations on camera, with FBI agents recording every word. The trap snaps shut with the sound of prison doors slamming. What happens next is a masterclass in criminal stupidity. Brinley pulls Bob aside, thinking she's discreet, but my cameras catch everything from 50 yards away. The breeze carries her voice like a megaphone. "We can make this worth your while," she says, glancing around. 8,000 cash to find violations and reject his application. Bob plays it perfectly. "Ma'am, are you asking me to falsify a government report?" "I'm asking you to be thorough," she replies, desperation thick in her voice. "Just say the soil is contaminated or something." Federal bribery of a government official, crystal clear on audio and video. And they're not done yet. Chadwick steps in, pulling out an envelope stuffed with cash. "There's 10 grand here. If you walk away and tell your supervisors the property failed." "Sir, that's attempted bribery of a federal inspector," Bob says loudly for the cameras. "It's a consulting fee," Chadwick backpedals, but it's too late. The two hired guys start getting nervous. Turns out they're legitimate contractors Brinley recruited from Omaha. One pulls out his phone and starts recording, trying to protect himself. "Lady, we thought this was a property survey," one says. Nobody said anything about bribing government officials. Brinley's panic becomes visible. Her makeup starts to run as stress sweat breaks through. "It's not bribery, it's property management consultation," she insists. Then she makes her fatal mistake. She produces a stack of documents claiming to be official state findings, government letterhead, seals, inspector signatures. All fake. Bob recognizes the names immediately. "Ma'am, these are forgeries," he says calmly. "I know these inspectors personally." "They're legitimate," Brinley insists. "The inspector whose name is on this report died 2 years ago," Bob replies. Dead silence. Even the meadowlarks stop singing. Forged federal documents, witnesses everywhere, cameras rolling. The contractors immediately back away. "We're out," one says. "This is way above our pay grade." As they leave, Brinley snaps. "If you file a positive report, you'll face lawsuits, harassment, worse. We know where you live." Threatening a federal inspector. Another felony, perfectly recorded. Chadwick tries damage control, but it's useless. Agent Santos's voice crackles over the radio. Units move in. Sheriff vehicles arrive from 3 directions, FBI and state police right behind them. Brinley's face drains white. "Yes," I say, stepping into view. This was a setup. The next minutes play out like a crime drama finale, except it's real. Handcuffs click. Chadwick runs and makes it 20 yards before getting face planted into freshly tilled soil by a rural deputy. Neighbors gather and start clapping. News vans arrive. Cameras roll. Evidence bags come out. Charges are read. My land is permanently protected. 6 months later, the corn stands tall, green and thriving. Brinley serves 4 years. Chadwick gets 5. Restitution is paid. Community equipment is bought. New laws pass. Scammers are exposed nationwide. Every morning now, I walk my property line to the sound of wind and birds instead of fake authority. And when another farmer calls asking for help, I answer. Because rural folks really do take care of each other.